All right, people, the watch list video here for Monday, April 25th. I'm showing you the daily on the SPY like I always start off with, and we had that ugly day on Thursday, and wow, another ugly day on Friday. I always try to go back and look at the chart and look at the range of that 2 day fall from here to here. So you try to picture something this great in 2 days, or I should say that expansive, I don't know, in 2 days, and you really don't see it going all the way back to June. You had a kind of a big 4 day fall back here, and then they gap down. So anyway, the market feels ugly. I'm a long bias trader, so I didn't do much on Friday. I did have a little afternoon trade in LGVN that I just called second mouse back through 1250 right there. So it went up and went to 12. I'll show you the reason for it. Went to 1254 right here. I already liked the daily on LGVN. So it went to 1254. And I looked and said, you know what? Thursday's high is only 6 cents above that at 1260. So it was, to me, a really not, and I liked the daily chart, right? And it's a recent high flyer. So there were several reasons I liked it. So the second mouse back through 1250 was my idea, knowing that 1254, the high of the day, was only 4 cents above, and then only 6 cents above that is a possible break of Thursday's high. So you had what we call stacked catalyst. So it goes down, and then there's the 1250 break. And this is how lame of an example, right, that I could come up with when you're a long bias trader and the market's this ugly. I did make I don't know, 200 or 300 on it or something. I got long at 1250 right there. It went to 1290, which isn't a bad move for a day trader, but then right back down with the rest of the market. So there's an example of the slim pickings as a long bias day trader you have when the market puts in a nasty looking day like the SPY did, right? But the beauty of it is when you're a day trader and the market's weak and you're long bias like I am, the market will keep you on the sidelines, right? Because nothing will be triggering as an A plus setup on the long side, or I shouldn't say anything, nothing, but very few things. So anyway, let me slide this over. Quick reminder in case somebody's watching one of my videos for the first time, a description of what we do. None of the charts I'm getting ready to show you that I'm going to be watching on Monday are investment advice. They're stocks I'm going to be watching, right? I make my money between the bells, right? Between the opening bell and closing bell. I do not hold overnight. I'm a pure day trader. So we'll start Monday with a list of the stocks I'm getting ready to show you, and we'll add some morning gappers in the pre-market as the day unfolds. I'll also use scanners to find news plays and that sort of thing. But I'll do my best to only take A plus intraday setups, scaling out into strength, while, and here's the important part, tenaciously protecting against the downside. You want to trade for a living, you have to protect against the downside. Capital preservation is more important than making money every day, right? And if trade isn't working, we'll accept that our premise isn't playing out the way we planned and get out, and then we'll just go right back to looking for the next setup. So there you go. I thought I would find more potential bounce plays when you have two nasty days like this in the overall market, but I really didn't find that many. If we get one more ugly day, I bet you I find a whole bunch of big sell-offs into support, but I really didn't. So anyway, what are we watching for Monday? RDBX, I'll zoom in a little bit here, had a nice 2 day run from 197 to almost 4 to 385, and then we had a much lower volume, quiet red day on Friday. So that goes right back on long watch. CYN, extremely powerful stock compared to the market on Friday. We're going to keep our eyes on that one. They had good news on Thursday. I went ahead and I like this RCAT chart and them sending drones to Ukraine, I think is what the headline was on Thursday. And you had a much lower volume, quiet inside day on Friday. So to me, you still have this kind of wedge forming. And because the market was so weak, I think RCAT is worth watching one more day for a potential long. ATER, but back down, held up really pretty well in an ugly tape, and is holding the 20 day. So I'm going to keep that one on long watch. CASA, I talked about this on Thursday going into Friday. I said all I see here really, good news was this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, this was Monday. Good news, massive volume. So when I look at this chart, some people say, oh, that's a nice looking pullback. Really, all I see is bag holders, which is about to contradict what I'm getting ready to say. I still want it on bounce watch. They did have, there's no negating, they had a good sounding news. I think this was a deal with Verizon or something, right? And now, after that, it's literally straight down, back down to the 20 day, and still well above where it was when the news came out. So I do think this is worth watching for a potential turn back up. But again, be aware that there's nothing but bag holders since the gap up. I still think it's overdue for a bounce. And I'm a day trader, so it doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. AA is Alcoa. Couple ugly days. It's not really like at support or anything, but just about a week ago, this was over 90, and it's shed all the way down to 67 in just about a week. So I do think it's worth watching for a snapback bounce. Speaking of snapback bounce, I'm looking at Disney. It's pretty beaten up over the last few days. If you follow the news at all, Disney's why Disney's been beaten up, but it still has fallen from 133 in 3 sessions down to 118. There's weekly candles to give you kind of a longer term view. And again, Disney is just, to break it down, it is a big name company with all kinds of sources, all different sources of revenue, and the news that they've been hit with, might be exaggerated or overdone. And I think Disney, as far as a lot of people think, is a great long-term investment. There I am kind of panning out on the daily. As a day trader, I just say, hey, Disney's fallen from in a couple weeks 145 down to 118, overdue for a bounce, especially if the market bounces. So I'm looking at that again for a day trade, like everything else. CYRN, you have to squint to see this because it really powerful back here, but then just got decimated. Does seem to have found support. Got nice volume early last week and went to 360, and it's been just kind of bleeding lower quietly on much lower volume ever since. So say we're trading tomorrow and we get some kind of cyber attack or cyber attack warning. This one does tend to pop on that. So and it's just kind of fallen for a few days after the big pop here, which doesn't look like much, but in 2 days it went from 238 to 360, which percentage-wise is pretty good, right? And then volume's fallen off. So anyway, I'll keep that on watch for that reason. My favorite chart going into Monday is LGVM, which had this massive move back here, which topped out at 1677, found some really nice support around 10 bucks, then had a pop, lower day there, and now it's starting to curl back up. It's actually a pretty handsome chart, so that one goes on long watch. SKYH, big volume on Friday and closed pretty well in an ugly tape. And then lastly, INZY, which had a nice pop back here, came back down and is curling back up. Really nice volume over the last 6 or 7 days, whatever it is. Topped out right here at 625. Friday's high, 567. Keep in mind, these big volume spikes still barely broke 1 million shares. So it's a thinner stock. I don't think I've ever traded this one, but it doesn't cost me anything to put it on a chart. We'll add some other gappers to this list. Be careful out there. It's weak. Sellers are pretty strong right now. They're in charge. So make sure that you're, looking for an A+ setup, only trading A+ setups. If you don't know what A+ setups are, give our chat room a try because we will teach you those. And, that's what I'm going to do. And if there's nothing to trade nothing. It's as simple as that. All right, I'm done battling. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you guys in the chat room on Monday morning.